Hi there. Good afternoon in India. It's good morning here in Belgium. My name is Sonal. It's the first time I'm going live with Jobs for Her. Firstly, a thank you to Sharnita and the people in Jobs for Her for inviting me. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are safe. So, we definitely don't know each other. So, I'm going to take a quick second and introduce myself and also talk about what we're going to do today. We're talking about getting back to work after a break. That's the theme for today. My name is Sonal. I'm a career coach. Okay, thank you, Sharnita. I'm a career coach, career strategist, whatever you want to call it. And I have a background in human resources for the past 20 years. I have started my career in India. I'm from New Delhi, born and brought up in New Delhi, and worked GE Capital for a couple of years in HR, then moved to South America, specifically Uruguay and Chile, where I was working at PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then came to Europe to do the MBA back in 2008, and then worked in a few companies here in Europe, three companies, very interesting positions, um, and have had great successes. I've had massive failures. I've been laid off. I have been told my position no longer exists. So I've had to start over. I've had gaps in my career, not only because of moving to South America, by the way, which I did because I met this guy and then we got married, and then I followed his career to South America as a supportive wife normally does. And when we came to Europe, it was because of me and my master's for the MBA, and then also came to Belgium for me. So he sort of returned the favor. Um, Perfect. Can you just let me know that you can hear me really well? Because I have a new webcam and I want to make sure that, I'm not like talking and you're kind of straining to hear me. Hopefully, just give me a quick thumbs up, Srinita, that you can hear me. So I've had gaps in my career because of having followed him to South America because of his career, and then also because I was laid off. I've had multiple gaps. Right, the longest gap I've had is 2.5 years, which is maybe not a lot. Some of you have had maybe 8 years of gap, and whatever it is, trust me, it's a process. It's not easy. You need to build it up, build towards it. So that's where I am today. And now what I do is I have my own business. I have a career strategy firm, and I help primarily senior level clients who are confused, lost, late, job has been laid off, etc. Pretty much all over the world. I am fluent, thank you. I'm fluent in four languages. I speak English, Hindi, obviously, but I also speak French and Spanish. And my clients are pretty much in every nook and corner of the world. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get cracking. We have a lot to cover and we don't have much time. So I want to make sure that we make the most of your time with me as much as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Sharnita's email because she very kindly compiled all the questions that I received, that have been received by Jobs for Her for today. I'm going to start with Richa. Hey, Richa, how are you doing? So she says, this lockdown has changed the entire situation from before. Yeah, no kidding. How should I transform myself before getting back to work and also for the future? Oof, Richa, that's a pretty big existential question. I don't know if you really need to transform yourself. Okay. First of all, I forgot to say this. Everything I'm saying today is through my lens, it's through my point of view. It doesn't mean it's the only way to do things, right? You're educated adults. You have a mind of your own. So take it with a pinch of salt. See what works, see what doesn't work, customize it, personalize it to your own content, to your own context. I don't like it when people say, this is what you should do. I don't know you. I don't know your context. So who on earth am I to say that, right? But I am going to share certain strategies that have worked for me and have worked for my clients. So, you need to decide if they work for you. So, Richa, I don't necessarily know if you need to transform yourself. But that's a pretty big ask, right? What I think you do need to do is figure out how is it changed? How is it affecting you today? What do you want? Make a list of 3 things. What do you want, like in the next 1 to 2 years? How can you get that? Right? So first, what do you want? Make that gap analysis. This is what I want. How do I think I can get there? And be creative. There's no need to kill certain dreams because you think, oh yeah, I want to work in Google. Who's going to hire me? Make that dream list. Make that wish list. We're very powerful over here. And everyone, including myself, we tend to underestimate what our mind can achieve. So definitely take advantage of your intention. And then once you have that list, okay, what are the things I need to do right away to be able to get those type of opportunities, right? Because otherwise the question that you have is so big and you're like, I don't know where to start. You know what I mean? So try and break it up into chunks. Okay, in 2 years, this is my plan, this is my intention, my goal. Okay, what can I do? What is it? So that you calculate it backwards. So what do I need to do to get there? And have that in sort of baby steps, right? No baby has learned to run before they walk or walk before they crawl, right? It always goes step by step. So have that clearly drawn out. If it means, okay, for example, I want to work in Google, going back to that example, do I know some people there? Do I have a warm network? Do I have a cold network? How can I harness it? How can I approach people who don't know me and at the same time, like, form relationships? Okay, how many people am I going to reach out to every week? It's very, you've got to make it practical for yourself as opposed to thinking what are the transformations needed. Do you know what I mean? I hope this helps you because it's a very big question and we could be here for hours just talking about what transformation means. But I like to be very practical in my approach and my thinking. It just makes me feel a little bit less overwhelmed. So that's Richa. Then the next one I have is from Namrata. Hey Namrata. So she says she's been on a career break for 8 years now, and I want to restart my career. Should I undergo some kind of training to enhance my existing skills in the field of sales? It's a good question, Namrata. You've got a pretty legitimate reason for having been out of the workforce for 8 years. Don't worry. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Lots of people have been through these, gaps. So yes, trainings will help, but you know what will really help? Just working again. You got to get opportunities. You got to get out there. It might mean that you have to certainly maybe, take one step forward, 2 steps back, right? So it may not, the next job may not be the dream job, which is okay. The point is, you got to get out there and get your hands dirty again. You learn nothing the way you learn by being on the job, right? That's the best way to learn something. A training in a classroom or in a virtual environment is great. I'm not saying it isn't, but supplement it with something else, with some real life sort of examples, internship, see if anybody needs any help. Yes, when it comes to sales, 8 years is a long time, right? A lot has happened. But at the same time, I'm not sure it's completely transformed. You know what I mean? So yes, there have been changes in every field. And in French, there's an expression, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So you definitely have skills that companies need right now. And sales, I honestly can't think of anything more important than sales, including HR. Okay? I'm from HR and I'll tell you, if we don't have revenues, we don't have business. We don't have profitability. How do people get paid? So you have certain valuable skills. Go back and remember what those are and find out how you can start applying them, right? If people need sales or, hey, can I help you? I'll get on sales calls, through your own network. That would be something I would highly suggest. And at the same time, yes, do some trainings. Do Udemy. The best trainings don't even have to cost you a lot of money, The hardest thing to do is to start. So I would say just start any way that you can. Yeah, Namrata, I hope this helps you. And yes, you may think 8 years is a long time, but focus on what you can control. What's done is done. It's in the past. Now, what can you do? How can you move forward? Cool. If I'm going too fast, let me know because I don't read any comments as such, except from the little Facebook group I am in. If everything is clear, because I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just like sitting in a room and I'm just moving. And you're like, okay, slow down. If you need me to slow down or anything like that, let me know. Okay. I'm going to take a quick sip. The next question is from Trisha. Hey, Trisha. Trisha says, I have a marketing specialization, but now I'd like to move to HR after returning to work. Would it be a wise decision to make? I'd love to answer this for you. I think you need to answer it for yourself, right? because you ask someone, they're going to give you their point of view. You know deep down what you really want. You have a marketing background, you want to change industries in the middle of a pandemic. Is that stupid? No. Can you do it? Yes. The question is, when you're going through changes and you want to have, as much as possible, some wind on your back. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to always be fighting and struggling and have an uphill sort of battle with, with whatever's going on. I personally tell my clients three things, particularly the ones who, made a career change, or typically a trigger for that is an MBA. I worked for a few years, I did an MBA or an executive MBA, and I want to change. So what I say to them is what I'm going to tell you right now. Those three factors to consider are industry, geography, and function, right? So if you have a marketing background and you want to change to something else, okay, is it possible to do that within the same industry, right? Because you're bringing some knowledge, some transferable skills with you. The second is function, marketing. That's clear, marketing to HR. So that's a completely different function. The third is geography. Is it within the same city? Do you want to move? In my case, we moved countries as well. So when, like in my case, I graduated during a big fat recession of 2009. So you want to be able to get some low-hanging fruit, right? In the sense that whatever already is there and it's working in your favor, I suggest you take advantage of that. It's already there. Like I said, wind on your back, take advantage. The other thing I will say is why. Why do you want to be in HR? Or any other function for that matter? If you want to change, and whoever's watching this, right? It's not just a question that Trisha has asked, but every once in a while we do have, we are curious. What's the real reason you want to move streams? Moving from marketing to HR, it's a pretty big change. Why? Is it because I'm running away from marketing? I can't stand it? Or am I running towards HR because I'm attracted to it, right? It has to be sort of one of the two. And it's a little bit more healthier when you think, this is done, I'm good, and I want to go towards, it's a little bit more positive as opposed to sort of, you know what I mean? Like glass half empty type of thing. But again, I leave that decision to you. Keep those three factors in mind. Keep your why, the Simon Sinek why. Why do you want to do it? And you should be able to have some more clarity when you answer the questions. It's a bit quiet here. I don't see any comments. I'm guessing I'm still live. Okay. It's I'm not going to pay attention to the chat because otherwise I'm not going to be like answering them and getting distracted. But it's quiet, but I'm guessing you guys are listening. Okay. I hope that helps you, Trisha. I wish you all the best. The next one is from Sanskruti. Hey there. So she says, hi, as we have seen the advancement in technology, even during lockdown, I would say, yeah, pretty much during lockdown, how should I keep pace with these advances before getting back to work? Okay, good question. I'm glad you're asking. And these are all great questions, by the way. I love the passion and the hunger here. Sanskruti, so what do you want to get back to? What is the job? Be very specific and very clear. What is the job you want to get back in? And in that job, what are some of the skills that you need? And make a laundry list of them, right? Soft skills, I hate that word soft. There's nothing soft about soft skills. Collaboration, teamwork, problem solving, communication, empathy, influencing skills, dealing with ambiguity. These are not soft at all, right? They are make or break type of skills. But other than that, make also a list of technical skills that you need in the positions that you're dreaming about, right? So, for example, I don't know, like in Trisha's case, somebody who's a marketing person should know certain softwares, should know certain tools. And similarly, in your case, what are some of those tools out there? It's very easy to find out. Look at the job descriptions out there. Look at the open vacancies, and look at their, what do they need? Look at those skills, and start learning them. Right? Like I said earlier, the best way to learn is on the job, right? That's the way we retain the most. Do classroom training, whatever it takes, and just get cracking. Don't overthink this too much at this point. I think the biggest enemy to towards our goal is overthinking. And Ambition, career, it loves speed. It loves speed. I can tell you from my own experience, when I've overthought, I've spent hours, weeks, months, years. Yeah, I will say that I will never get back because I kept myself back. I have lived it. I have no problem talking about it. And I think that it's worth acknowledging it if that's what you're doing. What's really holding you back? You're scared. You're scared something's going to happen. You're scared of success. There's a thing, there's a real thing, being scared of success. What if I'm successful? How will I manage? How will the family manage? What a big change. How will we handle it? All of that stuff is worth thinking about. Yeah, I hope this helps you. Um, with Sanskriti, with your question. And then Babita says, I lack fluency when communicating in English. How can I improve my soft skills before returning to work? Babita, those are two very different questions. So English, soft skills, I just talked about it. Which ones are you talking about? If you're watching, Babita, I'd love it if you could put it in the comments, because the answer is going to be very different. Since I talked a little bit about soft skills already, I call them life skills. I'm allergic to the word soft skills, but let's talk about English, right? And you've written it very well, so you've got pretty good English written skills, right? I'm assuming if you wrote it or somebody wrote it for you. If you're listening to me, you're able to understand, right, Babita? If it helps you, Babita, and Shanita, if you're okay with it, may I answer this in Hindi? So I'm able to answer her in a way that resonates a little bit as well. So, Shanita, I might take your permission to do it. I mean, I know for a change, I'm actually speaking with people from India, which is lovely. So I'd love to take advantage of speaking in Hindi, because I almost never do. But while I wait for you to reply to me, not sure, if you're there right now, but how can you, in the meantime, part 2 of the question, Babita, improve your soft skills? Just be aware. There's something called self-awareness. And there are studies to prove that what you know about yourself, right? Socrates, I think who said it? Socrates, know thyself. Understatement. What do you know about yourself? What are you good at? What are you not good at? Blind spots. What do you not know that you don't know? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know that I'm weak in math, so I'm always going to show that I'm good at it. But get that clarity in terms of soft skills, and it comes down to emotional intelligence. You can read books about it, you can watch videos about it, but the main thing is application. Apply some of those learnings in your own in your own career. And as far as the language is concerned, I have a direct experience when I lived in South America and I didn't speak any Spanish. It came down to fun ways to do it, right? So आप movies देखिए subtitles के साथ, documentaries, radio सुनिए, right? और बात करिए लोगों के साथ, class में जाइए, classroom training बहुत helpful है. Different ways to do it. I became fluent in Spanish in 1 year. I don't think I'm particularly smart or anything like that. It was just like I was really hungry. तो भूख होनी चाहिए. अगर कुछ करना है तो भूख. You need to be hungry. Otherwise, it's just sort of a pipe dream, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, but the hunger isn't there, the fire isn't there, so then it doesn't sort of, it doesn't really come to life. So I hope that helps you, Babita. As you can see, I'm going a bit fast because I have like 10 questions, and I'm keeping a little bit of gap in the end in case we have any more questions that come up during the live. Shreya says, this break of 6 years has made me more attached to my family. Oh, I'm afraid I'll not be able to concentrate on my work after joining the office. How should I overcome this fear? Oh boy. Shreya, with all the right intentions, I'm just going to tell you, I get where you're coming from, right? You want both. You want to have an ambitious, quality life, but you also, want, to make sure your kids are happy and your family is safe, etc. I get that. There's nothing to say that you can't have both, right? Um, and it's a little bit of compartmentalization. This is my life here, this is my life there. And right now with work from home, it's all over the place, right? That's why there's a lot of people who are stressed out, men and women. I will also say you're worried about something that hasn't happened yet. So take it as it comes, right? Have a support system, have a bunch of friends to talk to, have your family to talk to, your mom, your sister, your best friend. Chances are others have been through this as well, and you're not the only one, right? And whether you've been away 6 years or 8 years, yes, I told you it's it's not easy. It's not easy, but that's why we need more women to get back to work. It's not easy, but the support system will be there for sure. And if you don't have one, you make one. Make a bunch of people that who are there for you, mentors, friends, etc. If they can do it, you can do it. Yeah, there's so many women who've gone back after 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. What did they do that you didn't? I don't think they're smarter than you are. You know what I mean? So it's just a question of having some faith, having the belief, and just going in. Okay. Cool. That was Shea. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more questions. We have 8 minutes. I'm going to speed up. Okay. Preeti. What are the essentials that I should keep in mind while restarting my career? Oof, Preeti, that's a big one. I don't know where to start. It starts here. Just remember that, like I said, women who've done it after a long time, like who've gone back to work after a long break, there is an immediate sort of, starting on the back foot. Like there's an immediate disadvantage. You're thinking, oh, I'm already so far behind. It starts with the mindset. So very specifically, two things that I'd say when it comes to the mindset. And while I'm at it, I have a very detailed live stream that I did on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you guys are keen, I can put it in the comments. It was a 45-minute masterclass, which has a step-by-step approach on what to do if you've had a gap in your career. And I really go into details. If you're interested in it, put it in the comments. Let me know, and I can always add it, because I think it'll help you, and it's free, right? I mean, it's a live stream I did on LinkedIn and Facebook, and it received a huge amount of engagement. And I was particularly targeting women. I mean, it had a mixed bunch in the audience. There were also men who've been laid off, but I was targeting women because I know it's not easy for them. So, so the two things I want to say when it comes to the mindset is, you've got to surround yourself with people who are, positive and supporting you, right? Because you are the sum of the 5 people. You heard this, right? I think you said it. John Rohn or someone. You are the sum of the 5 people you hang out most with. So what are these 5 people feeding you? Yeah, could be family, could be friends. If they're feeding you with negativity, it's too hard. Nahi yaar, nahi hoega. Forget it yaar. Just ghar baithna. Theek hai yaar. The husband is earning. What's the point? If you listen to that stuff, you're going to start believing it. So you become what you focus on, right? So you've got to have that support group, which I talked about earlier, cheerleaders, etc. This is a very short answer. Just remember, the scariest thing to do is to start. Once you're there, you're fine. It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't forget, right? Things have changed, but not that much. So that's what I will say, Preeti. A very quick answer. Priya says, what online course would you suggest in tech after a gap of 5 years? Same thing, Priya. It comes down to tech is an ocean. Where in tech do you want to be? Focus on that area. Okay, in this area, these are the skills that are needed these days, right? Okay, for example, in here, I should know Python by now because everyone's talking about Python. Okay, let me take a course and understand what Python is. Done. Okay, in this part of tech, this is what I want to do and this is what I don't have. Okay, go and learn, do it. The easiest thing is hard skills. Hard skills, technical, there's nothing hard about these. These are teachable. So take advantage of whatever it is that you see. Look at real life job descriptions. I would say start with that. It's not imagination, it's not fiction. It's really what people are looking for, and go and find those and apply them. Learn, apply, so that you're able to talk confidently in an interview that you know what you're talking about. Right, Priya? I hope that helps you. Pinky, we got 3 P's here. Preeti, Priya, Pinky. How cool. So Pinky says, while working from home with work from home becoming the new normal, what are some new ways to maintain work-life balance when I get back to work? Oh boy. This is the $1,000,000 one, isn't it? It's last one? No, it's the it's the second last one. Um, there is no such thing as balance. I don't like that word because if you say work-life balance, it means you've got to give up something to get something. Do you know what I mean? And that concept of perfection, it has to be this way. I don't think it exists, right? So it's more about integration. How do I integrate my work and my life in a way that I'm okay with it, right? And I don't know anybody, anyone, men or women, who say they have perfect work-life balance. I don't know. We can always do better, always. And I don't think you should sort of strive for perfection. Some days are better than others. Some days I don't see my kids. I mean, they're there. I mean, I'm working, but sometimes it's back-to-back meetings. I work from home, and I've been working from home for a year, and I don't have an office. I have clients from all over the world, so I do Zoom calls with them. Sometimes it happens that some clients are more urgent, and the kids, the husband's got so you've got to have obviously the support system at home as well, right? And be okay with it. I mean, not like, oh, I made the husband cook, but I feel very guilty. No, you guys are partners, right? And traditionally, people have been told that it's the woman's job, etc. But women are working now, so you've got to have that uncomfortable conversation at home with our partners and say, hey, listen, let's divide up stuff, yeah, so that we make the most of the time together. This is what I'll do. This is what you need to do, and don't take more of it. I can't stand it when that happens. But at the same time, men have been brought up, it's a different discussion altogether, but men have been brought up for so long with their mums saying, you don't have to do anything, I've got you covered. And now suddenly the wife says, so it's a little bit of change management that has to be done. But I don't think there's anything which is superwoman. There's nothing superwoman about it. You just got to make things work. You got to start saying no to a few things and start saying yes to things that you like to do, right? It's a very personal decision. I don't think there's any sort of right way or wrong way. You got to do what works for you. Yeah, perfect. The last question I have, and we have 2 minutes to spare, is Arena. What are the challenges a person may face when taking a long career break? I think there's a big bunch of it, right? So I talk about it in the live stream 45 minutes, and we have like a minute to go, so I can't go into those type of details. But I think the biggest challenge is two. The biggest challenge is number one, everyone's moved on. I had that. It was scary. Everyone's moved on in the world of HR. So much must have changed. How am I going to get back in? How will I find my way back in, right? That's number one. The second challenge, which I think is a little bit unfair, is that in the market, the longer you are unemployed, the more unemployable you appear, which is a vicious circle. Do you know what I mean? The longer you are unemployed, the more unemployable you appear. So that's why I say don't think too much when you want to get back. It doesn't have to be the perfect move. It can be a stepping stone. It can be sometimes one step back. Doesn't matter. I took a step back. I took a step back in money as well, because it was like I didn't have any other offers at that point of time, and I was so keen to start. But the content of the work excited me, etc. So you got to see what you want to focus on and just make it happen. Everything we're talking about today, and I saw this lady Shraddha who did a live stream yesterday, Subramanian. She said something which I completely agree with. Implementation is the key. You're watching these type of sessions, jobs with her, and I'm in a couple of other forums as well. It's great. But at the end of the day, you got to make it happen. You got to make it come to life, because then you realize, oh, I made a mistake here. Doesn't matter. You learned. Good. Now what? Next step. Step 2, step 3. You got to have a bit of ambition to make it happen, and not sort of have it, that armchair type of thing. I'm going to think about it. One day it's perfect. It's going to happen. Nobody's coming to save the day. You've got to make it happen for yourself. With that said, it's exact 30 minutes. So Shanita, I don't know how we're doing. If we have time for any more questions, because it's been pretty quiet on the comments as far as this group is concerned where I am. So I don't know if you have any other questions, if we have any time, because I know time's up. So if you could let me know, we will, I think, end it accordingly. I hope this has been helpful. Sorry, it's my first time, so it's a little bit clunky the way I'm doing it. So apologies if it's not very smooth, But I hope it's been helpful. Everything I've shared today comes from personal experience. It's not theory from a book, but literally things I've lived through in my own life as a job seeker. Like I told you, I've been a job seeker multiple times. As an HR director in different companies that I've been in human resources, and the third is as a career coach. Right, I've mentored hundreds of clients, coached and mentored hundreds of clients, and seen what strategies work and what don't. And at the end of the day, no human being is cloned. Everybody is unique, right? So I'm guessing there are no other comments because I'm not going to wait. I do respect your time. So I'm going to say thank you so much for having me here today. And hopefully I'll see you soon. I know there's a masterclass next month, so I'll definitely be seeing you for that one. I don't remember the topic, but I'm sure it's going to be great. So appreciate your time. Have a lovely rest of the afternoon, and see you next time. Bye, guys.